Okay. Oh, there it is.
Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Master Your Mental podcast. I'm super excited to be diving into today's topic, you guys. We got the intersection of mental and physical health. And I am joined by my beautiful special guest, Jordan Wentz. Jordan is a professional dancer, fitness expert, and movement therapy coach with over 20 years of performance and mindset experience that she uses to help people ditch their self-limiting beliefs and find the confidence to live their most badass lives. And she does it all through epic dance parties. So without further ado, welcome Jordan to the podcast.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I've been looking forward to this all week.
Of course. I'm so excited to have you here because we connected and like we were talking on Instagram. And I was like, she's so cool. Like we were talking about kind of what you do, your background and like in the fitness industry, dance, all these things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, come on here. Tell me your story. Like, let's get into it, break it down and like really just like uncover all the pieces.
Literally break it down.
Yes, I love it. So like before we just dive on into it all, like just tell us some more like about you, like your background, what you do, and just what lights you up in general.
All right. Well, I'm Jordan. I'm America's hype woman. And I just help people to get out of the way and unleash their confidence so they can live their freest, most badass lives. And I started this and everything that I do. I've been teaching for many, many years. And I started all of this and it really it's always been ingrained in me. I actually started teaching at the age of 14 because I was like the best tapper at the studio. So they were like, oh, here, I'll let you teach some classes.
I love it.
Yeah. So I started teaching really early on, but I really gravitated towards that. And I really like helping people in general. And I've been doing it for a really long time, mixed with performance. I've traveled the world and performed everywhere in a bunch of different countries. And I've been in movies and music videos on television and all kinds of stuff. And I've just had a really awesome, I'm very, very thankful for my career and all of the cool stuff and all of the amazing people that I've met along the way. And, I'm still doing a lot of this. I'm acting, I'm doing all kinds of things. And I've also started a business. It's called My M.E.N.T.AL. And that is really ingrained with what we're talking about today, the intersection of mental and physical, because it is so important. And you can have one without the other, but I feel like together it's a whole next level.
Oh, it is 100%. And that's why I love this topic so much. And that's why I just love like your energy and what you do. And just, I can hear the passion just like come across in your voice that like how much you love this and, doing this. And I want to talk more about like the company. So tell us more about M.E.N.T.AL, like what it is, how you got started in it and kind of what it's all about.
Yeah, I'd love to. Okay. So my M.E.N.T.AL, I actually started it at the beginning of COVID. It was in the back of my mind and something happened when COVID hit and we were at home and it just clicked for me. I just started doing Instagram lives and just started doing stuff. And, I look back at some of the stuff that I was doing then and I'm like, it's embarrassing because I'm like, ooh, that's, I've definitely leveled up in many, in many aspects. But it's been great. It's been such a great journey. And the reason that I really wanted to start my M.E.N.T.AL is because I want to help people. And I know how difficult it can be to help yourself because I've been there. And I feel like that's what makes me, not to toot my horn, but I'm a great teacher. And it's taken me a long time to own that and to actually be able to like say that about myself. But I'm really great at what I do. And it's so important to me and it's so meaningful to be able to help people along their journey because it's so easy to get stuck and it's so easy to get, for me personally, it was almost like debilitating low self-esteem and low self-image, and growing up, I was like all the things. I was dancing all the time, but I had an eating disorder and I was doing all of these things. And even after I moved to Los Angeles to dance professionally, I was doing all of these things modeling, dancing, traveling the world, booking all these crazy, amazing gigs. And I still didn't believe in myself. And so it was the craziest thing. And other people would say, but you're so great. You're such an amazing dancer. And I would just be like, I just didn't believe it. And it's one of those things
Wow.
where,
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Cause I remember you telling me about that. And we had a little like back and forth voice memos. We were like sending and like talking.
yeah,
And you kind of told me a little bit about that. And I was just like, it really made me think, like when we think about like our past selves and like looking at that and being like, wow, like, like look at where I was in my life and, all the things that I was doing that seemed so exciting. And you're like traveling, doing all these modeling, booking these gigs and all these things. But at the same time, while this is happening, like you don't feel that inside. You don't have that level of confidence and self-esteem. And then on top of that, like you said, struggling with an eating disorder, like I can relate to that 100%. And just, know while this is all going on, and it does, like you said, it is really hard to have both, like the mental and then the physical aspect, because you can have them both, individually. But that's what I love about you is like just stressing like the importance of the two of them together, right? Like when you have your mental right, and then you also are like really like giving everything to your physical as well, and kind of like how that comes together and like how you really start to blossom and grow, because going from some like, especially for me, like I can relate to that, being younger and being like, oh man, like just not feeling it at all, like not being happy, not being in a good headspace, not loving your body, not loving yourself. And how do you come out of that? So I'd really love to hear from you, like what were the most helpful things or like parts of your journey that really like helped you transform from that place to where you are now, like where you're, just, I can see it, like just in your videos, like the vibrancy comes through, like the energy, all of it. So like, how did you transform, from that place where you were at, where you weren't happy, where you were struggling with these things and you weren't in a good place to the place that you are now?
So it took me a long time, it was a long journey. And honestly, I tell people it was the hardest thing that I've ever done in my entire life was to believe in myself. And I think so many people can resonate with that, and we are what is holding ourselves back from doing anything. And it's just been really interesting to explore and to get out of my way and see what kinds of doors and windows and all opportunities have opened because of that. And I would say the things that helped me get there, I feel like you basically have to hit rock. What's the saying? You hit rock bottom or something like that before
Yes.
you're coming back on your way up. And in a sense, it felt like that. I felt like there was a part of me that kind of had to die. I just had to like release the part of me that just um really work on releasing that part of me that cared. Because interestingly enough, I've been growing up, I was like the class clown. I was very, so I've always been that type of person who's really wanted to make other people laugh and just kind of that entertainer vibe, but that other part of me that didn't believe. So it was interesting to have that side of me, but at the same time, just not really know what to do. Have that part of me that was I still felt like I was holding back so much. There was something to me that it almost like I was hiding behind for the longest time for that. I was hiding behind that entertainer, that clown in me,
Mm.
And so actually embracing that and connecting with it and really setting aside and just being mindful of the fact that I would have my negative thoughts are like, I would just be like all day. And I think so many other people notice this too, like all day, just the stuff that I was saying to myself was absolutely like the worst. Like
Mhm.
if I would never say that to anybody else, because I would be
Yes.
like a horrible person if I did that, and it's crazy because the things that we say to ourselves, we would never say to anybody else. So why are we saying
Yes.
them to ourselves?
Oh my
And
gosh, I love it.
and so that was a huge one for me, was just paying attention, just like for the first time really listening to what I was saying to myself.
Mhm.
And that was huge for me. And what I also
Wow.
started doing was rewriting these things and reframing them, because I felt like if I had a negative thought come in, like you suck, I would actually be in an audition and I would like have the thought come into my head as I was doing it, like, oh, you suck, you're gonna mess up or something like that. And then I would But I got to a pattern of where that negative thought would come in, and I would, rather than just like see it and acknowledge it and just let it sit there, because I feel like that's not doing much for you, I would then reframe that into something else. So instead of, for example, you suck and you don't, I'd be like, I'm doing the best I can, and I'm enjoying every moment of it, And so it just, like, when you have it in that moment, the negativity, and you reframe it, and then you're able to move forward in a more positive light. So I really love that practice. And another thing that is
So
just,
good.
yeah.
So
And
good.
another thing that's helped me so much, which is interesting because I've danced, I've moved most of my life, but when I really started getting out of my way and focusing more on the mental aspect, I started combining it with the physical. And honestly, I would say one of the biggest things that helped me was freestyle dance or improvisation, where you're just dancing. Because prior to, I guess, this whole journey to me believing in myself and loving in myself and trusting myself, I wasn't doing much freestyle. It was like, this is the choreography, this is what you do. And I was great at that, but I was absolutely terrified of everything else. So once I really started just going within and just allowing myself to move, it was like, it was transcendent. It really was. And it didn't happen overnight. It was a process, but it was a continuous process of getting out of my way. Even when I was freestyling, of being like, yeah, I'd have these thoughts come in and be like, oh, well, you look so stupid. What are you doing right now? And just being like, okay, thank you, thought, bye. Like, kind of like meditation, you're kind of like witnessing it happen and letting it happen.
That
And
is so good. Just like, oh my God, like the reframing part you brought up is so powerful, just because like, I love how you laid that out. Like you gave such a good example. Like, you're at an audition and you have this thought come in of like, you don't know what you're doing. Like that move is wrong, or like, you're not going to get this, or whatever it may be. And like, just making that comparison of, we would never say this to other people. So it's like, it's like, we don't treat other people like that, but for ourselves, we can be our biggest critics, our biggest bullies, and we can be the ones that put those obstacles in front of us. So I love how you like just capture that, and we're able to like have awareness of that and notice that and see that and say, wow, like, we don't do this to other people, but we do it to ourselves. So like, and shifting that, and like, especially talking about freestyle, right? And like, what that does for you, and like being able to be in the moment and just move and then connect, what you're feeling like in your body with your thoughts, your mind, your behaviors, all of these things, and how they're all intertwined. So I just think that's really cool. And just the fact that you especially talked about starting this like during COVID, or like, was it before COVID or during that you started?
So I started my mentality right around the time that COVID first hit. So
like March or like
yeah,
earlier,
like March.
something like that.
March.
That's
Yeah.
so cool. Cause I feel like that's such a great way to connect people, right? Like connect, of course, like online, and like be able to like stay in touch and like do something, right? Like with our bodies, like, moving or doing these dances or different things, and just, noticing like how much joy that brings people, I think is so cool. So, like, what was the process like? So like, what, before you started it, like, how was it, what was it like for you when the idea came to you? Like when you had this concept, you were like, oh, like I really want to, do this thing, and I want to put it together and like make it a reality. Like what was that process like for you? Like going from turning that idea into actually launching the company?
Well, it was it was a whole lot of learning, about technology and everything like that. And but as far as the process itself, ideas were just coming to me, and I saw that as an opportunity. For once in my life, I felt like I had more time to actually like make this thing happen. And I recognized the need for that, the need for people to stay connected with one another and to stay connected with their bodies, and how important that was. And also the great thing about, not that COVID was great, but what I feel like people staying home, one of the positives, I feel like, people were staying home more and people had more time. So you started to see this trend of a lot of people starting to do new things that they've never done before. So I got a lot of new clients saying, hey, I've always wanted to dance. I feel like this is the time, And so it was really cool to see that shift happen too.
Wow.
And Yeah. And
That's so cool. My gosh. And just, I can just tell, like, just by hearing you talk and like, even before this interview, like just connecting with you and like hearing you talk about this and like, like the idea for this and the concept and then making a reality and being able to actually impact people's lives and be like, hey, like maybe I've never danced before, or never thought of dancing before, but now I'm like, I want to try this out. I want to do this thing. I want to see what it's all about. That's so cool. I don't know. I love the whole thing.
thank you. Thank you. And it's like, it's not just about dance, it's like the journey for me was the two together. It was the movement and the mindset, and dance and movement was really, it was the catalyst for my change, and I like to use the word embody, because we can talk about a lot of things that we want to do or we want to make happen, or shifts that we want to have in our lives, and that's all up here. But the moment that we actually embody it, we actually physically like embrace this, it becomes so much more powerful. So it's like totally taking it to the next level. And I think that's where I've seen such incredible transformation, not only in myself, but in everybody that I work with. One of my favorite stories, I love to tell this story. Okay, so I'm gonna try to keep it
Yeah.
short, but
Tell me. Yeah.
he's like one of my favorite students. He's so great. And he came to me because he was like, he was like, I do not dance. He's like, I'm that person that will sit at a bar, at a club in the corner with my arms folded. And I feel like a lot of people are that way too.
Yeah.
And he was just, I'm going to be honest, he didn't have any dance experience. He wasn't, he was not great, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you're starting. What matters is that you're doing the thing. And it's not about how good you are. It's just about your journey. And it's about, are you enjoying what you're doing? And are you moving forward? Are you getting something out of it? And so I started working with him. And the reason that I started working with him is because he had an opportunity to perform on stage with his, like, he was like a total fanboy of Shania Twain. And so which I think is so adorable. So he had an opportunity to perform on stage with her at her grand opening show in Vegas, right? So if you can imagine being absolutely terrified to dance, like will not dance, to go from there to I want to dance on stage right next to Shania Twain in her grand opening in Vegas in front of all of these people, right?
Wow.
So it's crazy. It's crazy. It's like, so this is like one of my favorite transformations ever. I mean, he just went like from zero to hero. And I worked with him for a while. And what I noticed about him was that he just had this burning desire. He knew he wanted something, and he knew what he wanted, and he wanted to dance on stage with Shania because it was like a dream of his. And nothing else mattered. So everything else was like, he just had that in his mind, and he was like, okay, let's do it. And so it was so awesome to really see his level of commitment, because he set his intention and he went for it, and he was committed to it, all regardless of everything else and all of the other negative thoughts and things that may have gotten in his way. And it was really cool.
Wow.
And at the end of that experience, he said to me, he said, this is one of my favorite compliments I've ever received. He said, you tricked me. And I said, how so? And he said, you tricked me into believing in myself through dance. And I was just like, oof. Yeah. And it really is. And it's like dance, it's more than just movement, it's a way to relieve stress. It's a way to express yourself. It's a way to connect with yourself. And
I just love that mental aspect that you just touched on, of like how he was literally so afraid of dance, like afraid of this. And then going from that to someone who's on stage, you said in Vegas with Shania Twain dancing. That is such a transformation, because I feel like if you're so afraid of something, it can be, like you said, paralyzing, and can really, prevent you from doing that opportunity, right? Or even like going for it, because you're like, oh, like I really want to do it. Like this is like a big dream of mine. Like I really want to do this. But then you keep hearing that voice in the back of your head that's like, you can't dance, don't do it, don't, and it's like that, it doesn't go away. And I love how, you said you started working with him, and just that intention that he set. And he said, this is what it is. This is what I really want, a huge dream of mine. I want to make it happen. And I think that's so powerful, just because I feel like I hear this come up in a lot of interviews, is like, setting an intention or having, a goal or an end point that you want, and you envision it and you know what it looks like already. It's like you can already taste it, but you just need to take the steps to make it a reality and actually make it so it's real, right? So I love that, the fact that you were able to be that person for him and be there and like support him and guide him through that transition. And then, he, after it happens, he looks at you and he's like, you tricked me into thinking. And I
Yeah.
love that, because
Yeah.
it's like, it's so beautiful just to see that in someone and know like that they are so incredibly passionate about this, but there's something that's holding them back. There's something that's
Totally.
a little thing. And it's so crazy, because once you finally get there to the other side, you look back and you're like, wow, like I was so afraid of
Yeah.
doing this thing. And then once you do it, or try a couple times and, like start to improve and get better and see the progress, you really start to say, wow, like I'm so proud that I went for it anyway.
Yeah.
I did it. I tried it out, even though I didn't know, what was going to happen. And of course, like you don't always know, right? Because we can't like, like see into the future all the time and like completely plan our lives out. So I think that's so cool and just awesome that you did that for him and like really like helped bring that to life and like make that a reality. So, another thing that I really would love to ask you is, since the show is Master Your Mental, I would love to ask you, what is one thing that you do, whether it's like on a daily basis or just a regular basis, to help you really just master your mental?
Mm. I've gotten into practice of moving every day. And something that I realize is that I don't always feel like moving. And that might sound crazy. Like, you're a professional dancer, you don't want to move. But it happens, and I think there's this resistance for a lot of us to do anything that's good for us, to work out, to eat healthy, when you're like, well, I could be eating these French fries, or I could watch Netflix or whatever. Like, I don't know what it is, but I've never met anybody. Maybe they exist. I'd love to meet them, who's like, yeah, I always want to do the thing. But most, myself included, and most people, I think, uh, aren't always like, you don't always feel motivated. So it's like, you need to take the steps to motivate yourself. And
Mhm.
I'm just bringing this up because in the practice of dancing every day, I don't always feel motivated to dance every day. Some days I feel really called to it. I'm like, I need to move. This is going to feel great. And other days I'm just like, I'm really tired. I could just go straight to doing other work right now. But just getting that practice and really remembering what it's like to, like, how do I feel when I dance? So
Mm.
I do a lot of work with this, and it's a lot of connecting your emotional, like your feelings, and really connecting the dots between that and your movement, because it builds positive reinforcement and a positive relationship with wanting to do it more. So in those moments, I remind myself of how I feel when I dance, how I feel after I dance, which is always amazing. It's like, once you start doing that thing that's good for you, immediately you're like, yes, this is so
Yes.
great. Why would I ever resist this? And
I love it. Oh my gosh.
yeah, so I think that's helpful for me to get going into, to have the consistency, because I think anything you're trying to do mentally, you need to have a habitual practice of things that are good for you, and time management and health and wellness and like the things that you're doing. So I think consistency is important. And the other thing that I would say that is just for my mental sanity that's helped me is the actual movement every day. Just putting on a song, putting on, if you're feeling really chill and you want to put on a chill song, that's fine. If you want to put on your hype playlist, if you're feeling really down, I do that a lot. And just move for the
Mhm.
sake of moving. Don't worry about what it looks like. Don't think about anything else if you don't want to. But just the movement itself really helps clear the air. It really helps clear the mind and just helps you reset. I do this a lot too if I'm having a frustrating like a frustrating tech issue or something, and I need to like get up and walk away. So I'll just like remove myself from what I'm doing and I'll just go dance. I'll just put on a song and dance for a song, and it's like total reset, total shift in mindset, and that's another reason why I think that dance and movement is so powerful, because it has the ability to totally shift where
Oh,
you're at.
100%. And I love how you bring up those pieces that you did right there. So just consistency and just like being able to reset. I love that because, just like you laid out for us right here, like consistency with everything, right? Like doesn't matter what it is. You gave an example of working out and going to the gym, and we all have days where we don't want to go. We all have days where we're like, I don't want to go, don't want to be here, I don't want to do this. But then how do you feel when you're done? Usually more times out of 10, you're like, I'm happy I did that. I feel good. I feel energized. Like I'm glad I did it. So I love how you talk about that and just getting the movement in at least like once a day, or just, even when you have those days where like you don't feel like it, you're not in the mood, you're too tired or whatever it may be, stressed out or whatever. Like I love how you talk about, just like the importance of that, of like being in that moment and also noticing that, but like not being like so hard on yourself and being like, oh man, like I'm not, doing this thing that I should be doing this, but recognizing that and like knowing that that's part of the process as well. Cause I love how you stress, not only just the movement aspect, but also like how that mental aspect ties into it as well. So we have something exciting coming up that you let me know about. So in September, you told me. So in September, there is another group. So it's the Move Maker group program you're relaunching and launching in September.
Yeah.
And it's so cool because you kind of told me a little bit about it, but I'm going to kind of get into the details here. So I think it's a 6-week group coaching program, right? To kind of like help people dance like you've always dreamed of, unleash that confidence and just live your fiercest life. So tell everyone like where can they go to learn more about it, like check it out, see what it's all about, and just like all the things.
Yeah, heck yes, I would love to. So I had so much fun with this program, and I'm really excited to start again in September. Just taking a little break for some summer travels, but we're gonna be back in full effect in September. And I'm really excited because this program has, honestly, it's my passion project, and it really is me literally infusing everything that has helped me get to where I am today. The mentality, the movement, and everything. And it's been a really fun process. I had so much fun. I had the first round and they really loved it. It's cool because it's a course, so you can work along on your own time. And it's a little bit guided. So it's a 6-week program, and we have weekly meetups. So we meet every week on Zoom, and it's really awesome because it's a container for us to build community. So you're going through the program with these other people, and you're building these relationships, and honestly you're building lifetime friendships. It's really cool to see the people that were in the last round of the program, and just to see like, when you see somebody's Instagram post and you see like, oh, this person's like commenting on it too. So it's really amazing to see that connection and that container really from people all over the world. I had people from Spain, I had people in Florida, I had people in Indiana. And so it was really, really fun. And so
I love it.
yeah, so you work through 4 milestones, and basically I start from the ground up. We do a connection to your body and getting connected and understanding how to move your body and to feel good with it, how to understand rhythm and musicality. I walk you through all kinds of dance moves, teach you all kinds of basic steps, and then we build on that. And then you learn full on dance choreographies. And I infuse a ton of Move Maker mantras, which are just thoughts and things that I say to myself that I live by. And in addition to the course and the meetups, there are a lot of little, like, I guess I'll call them fun books, but they're little like things that you could print off or you could work alongside. And I've done some programs like nothing like this actually, because I've never found any program like Move Maker, but I have done some programs where there have been some like follow along workbooks, and those have helped me so much because just to literally get your thoughts on paper and just to really see your progress is great, so I'm really just bringing it all in, and it's such a great program. And really the point of it is just to help you you will finish Move Maker, like you'll have gotten out of your way, you'll be like your most confident self. You're going to know how to dance. You're going to feel comfortable dancing in front of other people. You're going to have a community of people. You're going to have access to me and a Facebook group, and it's just going to be
I love
really,
it.
really great. So
I
yeah.
love that. That's so cool. And that's so cool. You did that. You put it together, you made it happen. And just to kind of see that sense of community all come together and just people
Mm.
from all over, connecting and forming relationships and, going through the program together and just having that sense of community and just being there together. I think it's so cool. So
Yeah.
yes, you guys, I will link all of the details for everybody in the show notes. But I just want to
Woo-woo.
say thank you to Jordan for coming out here today, having this conversation,
Yeah.
talking to us today, kind of about
Ah,
like, the importance between, movement, mental, physical, all of these pieces and like how are they connected? Like, what does it look like? What does it mean? Why is it important? I'm so
yeah.
excited and just like
Yeah.
how she broke it all down. So she's super cool. She's amazing. I know you guys probably know this already, just like from hearing the interview, from hearing her energy and passion. So go check her out. Go check the program out. I will be sure to link all that stuff in the notes of this show here we got here. But I'm going to say thank you to all you
Totally.
guys for listening. And whether it is the morning or the nighttime, hope that you guys all have a great rest of your day. And we're going to end it on this one. Thanks so much for tuning in to this
Whoop, whoop.
episode of the Master Your Mental podcast. All right.
Whoop.
Bye, guys.